Draft in 13 days. This coach will hear the names of several of his players called on the first and second day. And that is Brian Kelly, the head coach of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, who jumps back in with me here. Coach, it's always such a pleasure. Thank you so much for doing this. How are you?
I'm doing good, Mike. Thanks for having me on.
Well, it's always a pleasure. And again, I'm getting set to host this, so I have been studying your players in depth. So let's talk to the fans who are going to hear these guys' names called for their teams. And I've got three of them right off the top of my head. And the first is the linebacker, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, who is going to go early to mid first round, super fast, almost built like a safety, and perfect for the NFL today. For the fans who are going to hear his name on their team, what are they getting?
Well, they're getting a guy that is going to make an impact defensively. He's a playmaker on defense. We hear so many times about playmakers on offense. He's a playmaker on defense. If you run at him, he's going to find the football and get there with a big collision. He'll trace the ball. He'll find the ball if you run away from him. He can play in coverage. He does a little bit of everything. He blitzes off the edge. So this is a guy, if you're looking at defensive coordinators, he's a piece that you can plug in a number of different areas and utilize him as a playmaker on defense.
He's a first-round pick for sure. The next name is Liam Eichenberg, who could continue what you have going, which is an incredible streak. Every player who has been a left tackle, who has played regularly at left tackle at Notre Dame since you became the coach, has been a first-round pick in the NFL draft, which is amazing. He may project to play the right side at the next level. So for the fans, when they hear, okay, we just drafted the lineman from Notre Dame, what are they getting?
Well, they're getting a mature, physical, plug-and-play NFL tackle. I probably agree with you. He's probably a right tackle coming in to start right away in the NFL. So if you're looking on your roster for a tackle, a guy that can plug right in and play for you, Liam's going to be able to do that. And I think has the length, he's got the strength, and he's got the football IQ to come in and play immediately for somebody in the NFL.
Greeny, Brian Kelly is with me on the Goodyear Hotline, helping you discover the road ahead. Goodyear, more driven. Now let's tell the fans about someone whose name they may not know as well, Brian, if they don't follow your team closely. But the tight end Tommy Tremble is starting to become, from the people I'm talking to, a really interesting guy, known mostly as a blocker in your offense, but he can catch the football. He's super athletic. For the fans who are going to hear, like day 2 or even 3, we just drafted a tight end named Tommy Tremble. What are they going to get?
Well, they're getting a kid that's coming out early that has a ceiling that I don't know that he even knows or we even know where that's at. He's somebody that's going to run in the 4.5 range. His physicality is one where I think most teams would look at him right now and say, he's my starting fullback. But he can offer so much more because he's 255 pounds, can play the tight end position, and just enhances what you can do with your roster because obviously he's going to be a great special teams player, but he can catch the football down the field, he can block in line, and you can move him around as an H-back. And again, the versatility that he provides you is outstanding when you talk about value as a pick.
All right, so I'm looking forward to that, and we will see where your guys go. I'd love, while I have you here, to ask you just about two guys that you faced regularly right there in, well, it isn't normally your conference, but this past year it was your conference in the ACC. Let's just start with Trevor Lawrence. I mean, he's basically been anointed as the first pick in this draft since he was in high school. But just to remind everybody, as you project him to the next level, what are you seeing?
Well, I think everybody starts with arm talent, right? I mean, they look at the quarterback and talk about size. He's got great size, athletic ability. But look, the quarterbacks have to be able to have the IQ to play the position as well. So arm talent and then just an incredible football intelligence. He is so smart. And when you watch him play the game, that's what jumps out at you. Great arm talent and a very smart quarterback. We don't even touch upon the other things. He's elite in terms of his speed and athleticism, and he's won only a couple of championships. So add that to the list of check the box when you're talking about elite quarterbacks.
Absolutely. And then I just wanted to ask you, if you don't mind, about his teammate Travis Etienne. And I ask at least in part because a lot of the mock drafts have him going at the beginning of the second round to the New York Jets. And so all of my Jet fan friends are asking me about him. You had to defend him. They're very versatile, caught the ball out of the backfield a little more this year. Give me a quick thumbnail on him if you could.
Like his unselfishness as a player, first of all. Here's a guy who comes back when he could have left because he wanted to be part of a championship team again. So you love that right away as a running back, that he's not going to be a selfish guy, but he's got elite speed, can catch the ball coming out of the backfield. I think that's the guy that when people are looking at the running back today, he's got the versatility. He's got toughness when it comes to pass blocking. He's if you can get him in the second round, that's quite a get for any NFL team.
It's possible. Yeah, the two running backs at the top of this draft are Najee Harris from Alabama and Etienne, and they both will go somewhere in that late first, early second kind of range. Brian Kelly from Notre Dame. I always so appreciate this. One more quickly. I saw the change this week. I wanted to get your perspective, where the NCAA has word this exactly right. They have approved that all players now will be able to transfer without having to sit out a season, as has been the case for a very long time. As a longtime coach yourself, what is your reaction to that change?
Yeah, I think it was something that we knew was coming. I believe it's the right decision to be made. I think the NCAA is reacting a little bit to COVID to give them the immediacy. I think you'll see things down the road, Mike, that maybe tightens it up a little bit relative to academics. But it's the right decision to give these guys the opportunity to transfer and not have to sit out during that transfer year.
I totally agree as well. I had Dan Mullen on this show last week, and he was talking about the very fine line that we walk with this transfer portal, and it really struck me because I'm always a person who was, and again, I'm the parent. This fall, I'll be the parent of two college students. Neither one of them are varsity athletes because I'm their father. But if they're unhappy, if it doesn't seem like the right fit, I want them to be able to transfer and not have. There's no earthly reason why they shouldn't, and I feel the same way about athletes. And then Dan said something that it made me think about it a little differently, where he said, sometimes in life you need things to be a little hard, and his fear is that the minute things get a little hard for athletes, people might have a more immediate inclination to sort of just throw themselves into a transfer portal here rather than trying to do something hard, which is a valuable lesson going forward. And it did sort of make me look at it a little differently. I just wonder your perspective on that lesson and that conversation.
My rebuttal would be that they're not transferring from Notre Dame or Northwestern just because they didn't get on the field. They're making a decision to go to Northwestern or Stanford or Duke or Notre Dame or some of the schools that, obviously are going to provide them a degree well past football. So if it's just about football, I can see that argument. But the kids that we're recruiting to Notre Dame or Stanford or Northwestern, they're making a decision that is both balanced with football and academics.
That's another interesting way of looking at it. Yeah, it's just sometimes you look at, people say things and you have to be open-minded and see things a little differently. Anyway, I always appreciate catching up, Brian. Thank you. Good luck to all your guys in a couple of weeks. I'm looking forward to it, and we'll talk again soon. Thank you.
Okay, take care, Mike.